Have you ever tried to generate a PDF documents from data in Dataverse? This data that we are trying to populate in a PDF as a report, a certificate, a document, an invoice, a contract, all these kind of formats and templates, you can actually generate them from data in Dataverse. Today we have this example, as you can see on the screen here, of the customer orders daily report. This orders basically will, this report will show the customer name and customer email address, the order number of the customer, and the status, whether or not it's being shipped or not shipped. To do that, we will use Power Automate. We're going to use an instant flow, and then we will see how we can build up this report. The first thing that we have to work with is going to be preparing this Word template, Microsoft Word template, to do that. So to start, we're gonna see the steps that we have here. So the first step, as you can see here, I'm gonna just show my cursor highlighter right here. So the first thing we're gonna have to do is to prepare the Word document template. And to do that, I actually will generate this or create this template in my OneDrive, and basically we'll work on the document to get it ready by adding different fields that will be mapped to different pieces of data from the tables. In this example, we are not going to only retrieve data from one Dataverse table. Actually, we will get data from two related tables with one-to-many relationship, and then create this data or populate this data in the report. So the first thing we will do, I will go to my OneDrive, and then I will just click Create New Microsoft Word document, and I will call it Customers Orders Daily Report, and then I will open this file. The reason I'm saving this file in the OneDrive, because this is the location that I will use this. Again, populate Word document action in the Power Automate. It's a premium connector, so you have to have a license. Obviously, if you have the Dataverse license, if you have the per app or per user license, you can actually have this connector and use it. So the first thing we will start with, let's actually add a logo, and it's something that you can format the way that you want. You can add a logo, you can add a signature, you can add header and footer. You can actually design your Word document the way you want. This Word document is the one that we will convert to PDF eventually, and it will be the PDF file that we will have. So I will go ahead and insert an image from this device. And I'm looking for the image right here. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I'm looking for something. Okay, let's just get anything here. All right, Dataverse. That's it. So I'm gonna just put the Dataverse logo right here. As you can see, you can put your logo, you can put whatever you want, and then here we're gonna go ahead and basically start, a title, for example. So I will say Customer Orders Daily Report, and this is going to be the title of this document right here. I will go ahead and just increase the size of it. Next things I will do is we will create a date that will be actually today date, and this one you can just have it 12 for the font, and we will put like today date. And now the next thing that we have to do is basically we will generate that field. So this field is going to be a dynamic field. So basically this is a field that we will map into the Power Automate to a piece of data that will be placed in this field, right? And to do that, you have to have the developer tab right here, right? And if you don't have it, you can actually go to File and then go to Option in your document. And then if you go to the Customize Weapon, and it's under actually the main tab, if you scroll down, there is actually a developer. By default, it will be unchecked. You just have to check it, and that's it. So here I'm gonna go to my developer tab, and in the developer tab you have this plain text content control, and this is what you use for the field. So I will click on this, and then I will click property of this content control, and then I will give it a name. So what I will give it is actually going to be today date. That's the title, and what is important is actually the tag. So I'm gonna also give it, you know, a tag, and that's it. So the next thing we will do is actually we have to generate this report. As I have shown you, it's going to be a tabular report. So basically it will show the customers and their orders and the status of the order as a table. So what I will have to do here is actually go ahead and insert a table. This table will have 4 columns. So I will select 4 columns, and then it will have 2 rows as in the template design, right? Obviously, this table will be generated dynamically, and we will show how we're gonna set up this table in the Word template to generate the rows dynamically based on the data that we parsed out, you know, using the Power Automate flow. So the first thing we will have, the first column that we have is the name, and then the second one is going to be email address, and then we have the order number, and then we have shipping status. Right, so that's what we have right here now. And then what we will have in the second row is basically creating these content control as the fields for each column. So the first column, we'll go to the developer. Again, we will use the plain text content control, and then property, and I will give it a title and a tag. The tag is what we're gonna use in our array of data that we will pass to this control or this table in the Power Automate, and we will use this tag as the name of the variable or the property inside the array. So that's very important that you use the same tag names or tag value that you have here in this table in the template in your array definitions. So it's gonna be name, next one is going to be the email address, property of this content control is going to be email, order number, same thing, I will come here and put order number, and the tag is going to be order number, and then shipping status, this time we will use just status, and here also status. So now we have for each column a content control as a field that will be filled from the data that we will build in the Power Automate and pass to this table right here. So the next thing that you have to do is you will have to select this row with all these fields, and only this row, the second row, not the title, because I don't want to repeat the title. I want to repeat these information, the name, the email address, the order number, the shipping address, with the amount of the data that I will actually parse out, retrieve, and build in an array. right? So I will select all this row here, and then I will hit on this one here, repeating section content control. So basically what we will do here, I will give a name for this repeating section, and I will call it customers orders. So basically what I'm saying here, I was saying that this row is going to be repeating. So that's mean if we have 10 customers, we should have 10 rows. If we have 20 customers, then we have 20 rows. If we have 1,000 customers, then we will have 1,000 rows. So basically based on the elements or rows numbers, right? Record numbers in that array that we will build, right? That's perfect. So that's everything here. So what you have to do is just go ahead and save, and you can actually go ahead and close this file, right? So now we're going to go back to our next step. Our next step is we're going to create an instant flow, right? So to do that, I will go back to my solution. So this is a solution, and this solution called demos. So what I will do, I will go to the cloud flows, and I will add or create new automation flow. This cloud flow is going to be an instant. Again, I want to click and test this flow, so you can build the flow to be scheduled to run daily in a certain time. But in this case, just to show you how it will work, we will actually make it an instant flow. The flow now is generating. Perfect. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to actually generate variables. As I have explained to you, this is a model-driven app. And as you can see here, I have this orders table that can show the order number, the total price, the customer ID, which is a lookup column that looks into another table, which is the customer table. The relationship between the customers table and the orders table is 1 to many. So 1 is the customers, many is the orders. So that's mean a customer can have 1 or more orders. And then we have the shipping status. So basically what we are trying to do is we are trying to get the data from the customers, some data from the customers. It's the name and the email address, because in the customer table we have other data. We have like the actual address, and we have the state, we have the city, and we have the customer ID. All what I want to get from this table is actually the customer name and the email address. And from the orders, all what I want to get is the order number and the shipping status. So how we can do this? So in the flow that we have here, the first thing I will do, you need from the parent column, you need to declare 2 variables. Obviously, the format of these variables will be the same columns that you need from the parent table, in this case, customers. So I will initialize a variable. That's our first variable. I will call this var customer name. I know that this column in the customers table, it's a string or a text. So I will click select the strings. The next one, and it's a great idea to rename this. So it's initialize variable customer name. So I just renamed basically the action that we have here. And then the other one is going to be var customer email, and this one also is a string, and I will rename this one here as customer email. It's great idea to always rename your steps and actions just to make it clear, right? That's for the parent table. Now from the child table, because we are getting the shipping status, and the shipping status is a choice type column, so it's not a text. So how are we going to get this value? So to get this value, we'll have to use expression, right? And to use that expression and send that value of that expression, the output of the expression, into our array of data, to pass that array of data to the populate Word document action eventually, after we have all the data combined, organized, and everything, then we need to put this value which is the label value, which is shipped or not shipped, into a variable. Because if we pass just the column, we will have the choice integer value, right? And you know the choice lists, which is a Dataverse thing, right? So what we're gonna do then, we're gonna create another variable this time, and this one is gonna be the var shipping status. Sorry. Right? It's going to be string, and we will rename this one here initialize variable shipping status. Perfect. Now the last variable that we need to do here is going to be our array variable. This is the array that we're gonna use basically when we loop through the data and we get these records. Then we have to fill up this array, right, with all these records. So the variable that we will use here is gonna be also initialize variable. The type of this variable is gonna be array. Then this is what I will call it. We're gonna call it customers orders, and just call it array, just to remember that it's array. And then the type is gonna be array, and this is, rename this, and we call it customers orders array. Perfect. Now one thing that we will have to use, I want to, like, actually when this flow start running, I want to get today, date, and time. So that the moment that this flow run, I would like to get the date and the time, and I want to actually change the format of this to be basically like Monday, and then the date, and then the time, basically. So to do that, we can use actually convert time zone. So if I actually type down convert time, and I use convert time zone action, I can pass to this action the UTC now. UTC now, it's a function that will give us the current time and date at this moment. And then the source, we will use Central USA. And then the destination, obviously you can convert between two time zones, but I don't want to convert. So I will use the same thing for the destination. And the format, this is what I want to do. I want to use a long date pattern, which is Monday, June 15, or actually it's full date time pattern, short time, which is Monday, June 15, 2009, and 1:45 p.m. So this is the format that I want to use, right? And remember, in our report, in our document, we have added a field of today's date, right? Or today's date report. So this is exactly what we use for. In addition, we will use this with something else, which we will post when we send a message in the Microsoft Teams, along with the link to the PDF. I would like to include also that this report as of this date and time, right? So that's why I'm creating this action right here. Now, the next action is going to be getting first the customer data, the parent table data first, right? Because this is what we need. So you get the customer record, and then the customer record, we will look into that record to find if this customer, this parent record, has any records in this child table, and in our case is going to be the orders table, right? So to do that, we are using list rows, which is actions to get rows from a Dataverse table. We will select the table that we would like to get, and in our case is going to be the customers. And you have to set the row count. I know that I don't have more 500. You can actually go away more if you want. And then it has also a limitation. I think it's 100,000 if I remember, for the list rows action. Okay, perfect. And then from here we can actually rename this, that list rows customers. And then the next step is going to be, I want to actually get the orders of each customers. To do that, obviously apply to each. So basically what apply to each is doing, the result, the list, the array I got from the list rows customers, because the result is array in JSON. So the results that I got, I want to actually loop through these results in each record, and I want to see if any record of these has a related child records in the order table. That means any customer has any, if the customer has any orders. So I'm using apply to each, and what I will pass as a value, apply to each what? So I'm passing the value of list rows customers. Then the next step is gonna be here. That's the first thing that we will do, that we are looping through the customers. So the first things, I need to set the value. So every time this loop run, it will run in one record. So in the first iteration, I would like to set the customer name. So basically what I'm using here, which is set variable action, right? What I'm using here, I'm getting the customer name of the current iteration, and the value of this is going to be the customer name, right? The same thing we'll do for the email. Set variable action. The variable is customer email, and from the list rows customers, I am getting the email address. So now we have, in the first iteration, we have the name of the current customer and the email of the current customer in this first row in the iteration from the data that came from the list rows action, right? Now, the next step is I want to see if this customer has orders in the orders table. So to do that, I will have to go and list rows again. This time we are looking into what table? We are looking into the orders table, right? But we need to filter because we don't want to list all the orders. I want to list the orders and filter the order by actually OData style. So basically, I want to show only those orders related to the current customer. I know that the relationship between the orders and the customers is via a lookup column, right? So what I need to get this lookup column name, logical name, right? So I can say that when the value in this column, right, equal that value of the current customer in the current iteration. So I'm gonna go back to my Power Apps here, and I will actually go ahead and open the Power Apps, make.Power Apps. And I will go to my solution again. I will go to my demos here. I will go to my tables, orders, columns. And right here, I will just filter to get my custom columns right here. Filter by demo. And it's going to be my lookup column right here, which is the customer ID. That's the lookup column. And what I want here is basically, I will go ahead, click Advanced, Tools, copy the logical name. So this is the logical name that I need to get the value of the current customer in the current iteration that link to these orders, right, in this table, right? Because this is the lookup column we are using here. So to do that, you have to remember something, and I have it right here for you. So for the column, lookup columns value, the OData formatting is this right here. This is the OData formatting, right? So underscore the logical name of this column, which is the lookup column, underscore value, right? So this is basically the value that hold the good number in the parent table, the relationship between a child and a parent via a lookup column in Dataverse. That lookup column actually hold the good value of the parent record, right? To get the value of that record, that text value or the label value, this is when you use the odata.community.display.v2 formatted value. This is not something we're gonna do today, but we're gonna do this actually when we get the shipping status from the choice column. But what we need to understand here, every time you are referring to a lookup column from a JSON in Power Automate or data filter, this is basically the value of the lookup column. This is how you have. The most important two things is the underscore before the logical name of the column, and then the after that, the postfix is going to be the underscore value prefix. Right. So now the next step is going to be, we're going to come here, and as I said, we will underscore, paste the logical name, underscore, and then we put value. And in this case, it's going to be after that equal, which is EQ, equal what? So we need to get the GUID value, right? So the GUID value, which is the list row customers, and the GUID value, I have a column that the system column, the unique identifier of this table, right? And I call that column, or I renamed it actually as a customer GUID. Usually these columns, when the system generate them after you create a new table, they will have the same name of the table. You can rename them. I like to rename them so I can actually easy find like which column has actually the GUID value of each record. So I'm gonna select that one. So with this, perfect. So now basically what we have here, we have all the orders related to the current customer in this iteration. So list rows, and then customer orders. And basically what I can do also to make it clear for you is current customer order. That's mean inside this iteration, right? Remember, we are for each. So in the first row in the customers table, right, I get the customer name, set it in this variable. I get the email address, set in this variable. And then I list the rows and I use the customer GUID. Now after that, what I want to do is the next step is actually the step where we're going to build that array, right? So the next step is going to be, what we need to do here is we are going basically to apply to each order. So we can use actually apply to each. So we're going to actually loop through these orders. The customer can has one or more. We don't know. So we're going to just loop through these orders, right? And the value here is going to come from the list row current customer order, right? And this is going to be the value. The next thing is going to be is actually we have to set variable and here we are setting what variable? We are setting the array variable, the customer orders array. To do that, it's very simple. You open curly bracket, close curly bracket, and remember the tags name that we mentioned, that it's important to remember in our Microsoft Word template. That's when you're going to have to use them. So here we are using between double quotation the name, and then you pass the name. Where's the name? This is the name that we just actually captured in this variable, which is the customer name. Then comma, it's jumped down. The second one, it's going to be the email. And I think I only use the email in my tags. So it's going to be the email. And this variable is going to be the customer email. Then I have the comma. And then we said we're going to have the order number. And the order number is coming from the iteration of the orders that we just listed, right? So this is what we need to get from the current customer orders, right? And here we're going to get the order number, right? And now we need the shipping, right? So before that, we need the shipping status, right? So the shipping status, we called it status in the Word document, and we want to pass the status. But if I pass the status here, or the shipping status, this is going to be the choice column integer value, right? If we go here and we see the choices that we have, we have a choice column in the orders table that called shipping status. This column is linked to this shipping status choice object. And these choices, as you can see, it has a label and it has a value. So here, if I put the shipping status, is going to be the value. And that's where I need that variable that I declared, which is the shipping status variable, as a text or a string, right? So to do that, it was supposed to be before this array setup. So I'm going to just go ahead and do it right here now. And then we're going to set variable. And this time is going to be our shipping status. And here in the value, what we're going to use the item function, question mark, square brackets, and single quote. What we have to do here, it's identical in every scenario. It's the format, it's the syntax that you have to use, and I have it right here. As you can see, for the choice column, to get the value, the label, not the integer value, you use basically this format, as you can see right here. It's at oddata.community.display.v2.formatted value. So this is basically the format or the syntax or the expression that you need basically to get from that. But don't forget, you need here the logical name of that column, right? So I need that logical name. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this and go back and then paste this right here. But I still need the logical name of that choice column. So if I go back to my tables and I go back to my columns in the orders, and I will filter by my demo just to get my customs, and I will look up for my choice column. This is the one. And to get the logical name, again, advanced tools, copy logical name. Here you go. So when I come here, and then before this, before the at or data, I will go ahead and paste my logical name. So basically the data that comes from the list rows from the orders table, it will come as a JSON. So basically I'm telling him that set this variable with this value. So basically in the JSON, this is what you will see, right? And the value of this property in the JSON is going to be the label variable, shipped or not shipped. So this is basically how we do it right here. And that's it, done. So now I want to actually get this down. The array basically is going to be before that. And I'm going to actually rename this again, set variable. This is the array, right? And here we're going to just rename this as well, you know, shipping status. It's great to name these things. And then it's going to be the status here. Which variable we're going to use is the variable that we just created. It's actually the var shipping status. Basic. That's awesome. That's actually everything. And with this, you have already done. So now this will finish that you already have the array of all the customers and their orders. Now, what we need to do is to pass this array here to the populate Word document action that we will have after this. So you will actually close the apply to each, which has all this code there and steps there. The next steps after that is going to be, if I look for Word and I click on Microsoft Word or Word Online Business, and then you have these two actions. Obviously, we're going to use both of them. The first one is to populate the Microsoft Word. And then after that, we actually create a file from this Microsoft Word that we just populate. Then we use that file to convert it to PDF, and then the conversion of the PDF, we're actually going to save it as a PDF file after that. So let's go. And then we have the populate here. The location, you will select the location where you actually have this template. Remember, we have the template in the OneDrive. In the document library is going to be OneDrive. And then I'm going to look up for my table here. So I think it was, let's see if it was in .o here. Right here. So now I have it. So customer order daily reports. So I'm going to select this one. And now here we have basically, these are the content control that we added into that template, right? So you can obviously, if you don't have a tabular, that's when you do this. If you don't have a tabular, basically, as you can see here, the today date is just a field that has the today date. Obviously, what we're gonna use here, remember, we have that convert date, so you can actually look it up right here, converted time action. So this is gonna be, you know, the time or the time and date that we want here. And here we have an array, and to pass an array here, basically to the repeating section, you will have to switch to input entire array. So that's when you click on this right here. So I'm gonna click right here, and now I'm gonna pass the array, which is my array that I populated in the previous step. That's it. That's everything to do to populate this document. The next step is going to be to create a file from this populated document, right? Then we use create file action, and here what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to select a folder path where you want to actually create this file. So I'm gonna create this file on, I created a folder in my OneDrive called Customer Orders Daily Reports. I will select this folder path. The file name, I will just call it Customers Orders Word, just to know that it's the Word file. And then what we can do here is we can actually add, for example, UTC now, just to have basically an end, a date. To, if you have multiple files, you can tell which file is what, right? So if I use UTC now in the expression, that's gonna be the end. And don't forget this, it has to be with extension of that file, which is the docs in this case, right? And then the content of this file that we are creating is going to be the populate a Microsoft Word template. That's the populated template. It's going to be the source of my file when we create this file. So right here we have created a file. I'm going to rename this, and basically I will say Word document. So I've created a Word document and it's been saved in the OneDrive. The next step is actually to convert this Word document that we just created into a PDF. And to do that, I will select Word. So I want to get actually the Word Online Business, and then here I will use the convert Word document to PDF. And as you see, it's a premium connection. All right. So here we're going to have to find that file. So that file is going to be in the OneDrive for Business. And then which document library is going to be the OneDrive, and where is that file is? The file is going to be, obviously you have to give the path of the create file Word document. This action will have one of the properties, it's called path, right? And that path what we need. So I'm going to head the path here, and perfect. Now we have that Word document that we just created from the populated Microsoft Word template, right? It will be converted to a PDF, right? It's being converted to PDF. Now we need to save it or create a file from it, right? So here we go. We're going to go ahead again and use create file. And then the path of this file, we're going to just have it in the same place where we actually save the Word document. So we're going to go to the root of my OneDrive. I will use the Customer Orders Daily Report. The file name is going to be Customers Orders -PDF, and then dash, again, you use the UTC now just to have a differentiation between these files in their names, and then .pdf as well. The file content of this is going to be the convert Word document to PDF output, as you can see right here. And then I will rename this and I will call it create file PDF document. Perfect. That's it. So now we have everything ready. So let's go ahead and test this before we go to the final step, which actually would like to post a message in Microsoft Teams with the link to this PDF file. But before that, let's go ahead and test it and see if everything will work as expected. I'm saving my Power Automate flow now. It's saving. Give it a time. Sometimes it takes longer than other times. I don't know why, but this is the case. So we'll give it a second here to finish saving, and then after that we will head test and do a manual test and see the flow running in action. It's been saved. I will hit test, manually test, initialize my connection references, continue, run the flow, and the flow will start running. And once the flow completed running and successfully completed, we will go to that folder. We will have all this data. It's been converted and saved, and we will check to see what we have here. So we have all the previous or prepare or requirement steps, the variables that we initialize, convert time zone, we got all the customers, as you can see here. This is one, and this is actually what is taking time now. It's basically looping through each customer and then looping, checking the customer to see if they have any orders, and then building this array. And that's why you can see actually here, it's the amount of time that this step is taken in your flow. Again, enhancement can be done. Maybe you have other kind of strategy to parse this data, but we have an issue here. So an action failed, no dependent action was found. So I will have to figure out what is the problem here. Okay, let's see. So apply to each. We have the value from list rows customers. We set the value customer name, email address. Here we have the demo underscore customer order. This is underscore value that's equal to this. Okay, perfect. And then apply to each one of them, and this is the value from the current order. We set the value shipping status. Okay, and yeah, so as you can see, okay, I'm gonna actually go and copy this. So I use actually the wrong functions. So instead of item, you use items. Yes, we are inside an array, and that's the problem. See, it's a small thing. I'm glad actually we were able to debug this and find the issue right here. So we don't need actually, because we have the single quote, and right here, update. So instead of the function items, item, use actually the function items. And I think that was the problem. And I was wondering what is going on here. It seems the same, but it was just the function name. So because we are running into array, right? So we are using the function items. So basically to parse down this. So now everything is freaking out. Okay, so set shipping value on line 1. It's causing a problem. So let's see here. Yeah, nothing wrong with this 100%. So let's just try to save again and see if it will cause any problem. Overwrite other people changes, saving. Okay. Right. So what I will do, I will just come again here, use expressions, items, and then basically what we will have to do here, paste this, and remember, because it's items, so we are passing the items, which is coming from that array, from this loop. Apply underscore to underscore each underscore 2. Say close, save, and then let's save again. See if it's actually gonna save this time without an error. Perfect. Okay, that's another failure. Okay, so the previous failure, yeah, this one here now is the problem. The var customer order array type array cannot be initialized or updated with the value of object. It's actually only support the value of types array. Okay, so I think that's his array then. Oh, okay, so I know what we have done here, guys. Again, that's another problem. See, we are using a set variable array, and we should actually not use that. I should use actually append array. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that real quick. Sorry for that. So to build the array, we are using actually append to array variable, not set variable. And here we selecting the array, and then I'm gonna just paste all the code that I have here using the append to array variable and not set variable, right? Because this is what we want to do, is actually we want to build up into this array. Perfect. There you go. So now we have the document is populating, we have the file is being created, the Word document converted to the PDF, and then now we are creating a file from that PDF. That was a long journey, but we did it finally. So I'm gonna go back to my OneDrive. I'm gonna go to my folders. I have the customers orders daily report folder, and here you go. This is the report that was just created seconds ago. I'm gonna click on this PDF, and as you can see, here you go. That's what we have now. We have all the customers with orders and with a status, whether or not it's shipped or not. Now, how to send this to Microsoft basically Teams in a chat message. So to do this, and we're gonna do this quickly this time, I promise. So we're gonna go to the final step, and we're gonna click on Teams, and then we're gonna actually look for post a message on in a chat or a channel, right? That's the action we are using. It's gonna be a Flowbot, and then it's going to be in a channel, and then the team ID, the team in Microsoft Team, it's my Power Platform place, and then the channel, I have a channel called Power Automate Messages, right? That's messages coming from here. And what I need to do here basically, so I want to send a message, basically I will say current, okay, let's just, write this, current customers orders. And then what I want to do is I have to use the path from the previous action, this path of this file, along with my directory root, right? So the root of the directory. And basically, if you go actually to your, Microsoft, let's just come here. So this is the PDF folder directory that I have right here. So I'm gonna just copy this, and I said that I just had to put some stuff just to save the time for us, right? Although that didn't work really very well this time, did it? Okay, and now what I will do here basically, I will highlight this, and basically what I will say, as I will just add as of this, as of this date, right? So I'm gonna just put like this, and here what we're gonna get that convert. Remember the convert time things that we have, the today date, but here I want to actually have the link. So basically, this will be hyperlinked. So I will actually add a link right here. I will just type anything just to make it hyperlink like this, and then I will click on this. As you can see, what I have typed right here, so basically I don't have anything here. Do you see this? So these are where you're gonna put that link that you have, right? So it's actually the href equal, and then you don't have anything there. Where is the link? So I'm gonna actually paste this link right here, and then this is where the root, this is where actually that file was actually created. The path of the previous action, it will actually include the folder and the file name. The path of the create file is usually equal the folder and the file name, where that, the folder where this file is saved and that file name, right? So all what I have to go from the create file PDF document, I will just put the path, and that's it right here. Save, and then we're gonna run that last test, and let's see if this will work as expected. Here you go, guys. This is what we have here. And then as of this date, so the date here is something wrong, but that's okay. And let's actually click on this and see if it will open our file. And here you go, you have it. So in the Teams, right? As of this date, obviously we just have to figure out why is this doing like this. So we're gonna actually fix this probably in the source code of that body message, right? To make sure that we have the right code there. So, and this is the current customers orders, and then it's a hyperlink. You click on it, and then as you can see, you go to that PDF with the status. Remember, we could have actually, you know, filtered those orders based on the status. For example, like, you know, when we have the list orders action, we could have actually in the filter or data filter, right, we could put like, we would like the status to be equal, for example, shipped, right? That's what we needed to do. And then, or not shipped, for example, to have a report of those that did not ship. And you could have actually posted this in the shipping team in Microsoft Team, for example. I hope you enjoyed the video and not bored with me. Please, if you like it, like and subscribe and share this video. And I will post the article or the blog post in the description of this video. And I hope to see you next time, and enjoy your weekend, and I will see you later. Bye.